put him in the hall.
Okay.
Customary use.
I'm trying to offer.
You got 1 minute. Hey, thanks for joining us. How you?
Happy to see y'all.
What would be access to the website? I'll have to look later.
So
Never heard of it before.
I haven't heard from him.
If we could stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Jennifer, if you can go through the rules, please.
Yes, sir, Chairman. Please silence all cell phones. If you wish to speak, please let the board secretary know in advance. Otherwise, raise your hand for the board chair to recognize your request. When the chairman calls you to speak, come to the podium, adjust the microphone, and state your name and address for the record. You are requested to keep your remarks brief and factual. Both parties of an issue will be granted uniform maximum time to speak, which usually runs between 3 to 5 minutes. This hearing is considered quasi-judicial. Conduct is formal, and profane or derogatory comments will not be tolerated.
Do we have determination of quorum?
Yes, sir, Chairman, with 6 members present, we do.
Proof of publication?
Publication was on Thursday, January 29th, 2026 in the Pensacola News Journal.
Thank you. If we can get approval for, we have 2 minutes that we're approving, we'll go with one at a time.
Yes, sir.
We can go with the December 3rd meeting minutes approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. We have minutes from January the 7th, 2026. If I can get a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand.
And just for a
Motion
little
carries.
clarification, there is a typo on the agenda. It should have read December 3rd, 2025. You know, I'm human.
Happens. Do we have anybody that wants to speak in public forum?
I do have one speaker request form, Mr. Robert Skichak. If you could please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Robert Skichak, address is 9360 Nichols Lake Road, Milton, Florida, 32583. This is regarding a disciplinary action that was taken upon my license. I never received notification for. It was never able to provide a defense on myself. And looking over the disciplinary action, there's some things that were also presented out of context, and I'm trying to figure out if I can have a chance to provide a defense on this.
Staff, if you can make a recommendation.
Go ahead, Chair.
If you can fill us in a little bit about the cases
So
referred to.
Mr. Skichak had a complaint filed against his license with this board, and ultimately the board did take disciplinary action against his license. He came in and asked what would be the procedure because he did not receive notification of the proceedings, and he didn't. He actually came in and was trying to get something done with licensing and was made aware that disciplinary action had been taken. He is aware that he did not update his mailing address with us, and he admits to that. But the actual notices, everything went to his other address that was not changed. He asked what could be done, and I told him that he would need to come to the board during public forum and address the board in regard to that case.
When was the case? Exactly what are the specifics?
I can.
If you don't mind.
If you could, please.
I got it right here.
If you want to go ahead and answer based on that.
So the final order Says it was held on September 4th, 2024. I'm sure the 2024 is actually a typo. It should be 2025.
Let's start with, what's the case number? Does it have that at the top?
We got a case numbers 250329 COM.
Let me see if we'll pull it up.
Okay, thank you.
So what I'm bringing up on the screen is the actual final order. The case was in 25, based on the complaint number. Mr. Skitchak was found in violation of 2 items and was fined $2,000 based on that hearing.
What was the complaint?
Let me bring up the admin complaint really quick.
And don't we register mail them also? I mean,
We do. We send them both
35?
certified and normal mailing. Here's the actual administrative complaint. Just to give a brief overview, this isn't regarding Mr. Sprague. He hired Mr. Skitchak to do a water heater replacement. Mr. Skitchak installed the water heater in January of 25 and provided an invoice. Homeowner paid the invoice. Homeowner contacted the respondent, advising him that he had some concerns about the water heater. Mr. Skitchak returned to the residence and corrected the installation. Then property owner questioned about when an inspection would be performed. That's when Mr. Skitchak came in and attempted to obtain a permit. And at that time, he had an inactive license. He was working on a business name change during that time. And for us, when you're doing a business name change, you have to have your name on your insurances match your name on your license, right? So he was working through that process. Mr. Skitchak ultimately got another plumber to obtain the permit, correct, Mr. Skitchak?
Yes.
Permit was obtained, inspected, job was completed. What the board determined at that time was contracting with an inactive license. His license was not up to date due to the business name change and the insurance issue. And then the permitting issue from him, not obtaining the permit for his work. So that's what the board looked at.
Then the final ruling on it was just a penalty or suspension of license also?
No, it was just some fines. He had to pay those fines within 30 days. And then the board made the ruling that should he not pay those fines within the 30 days, his license would be revoked for a period of 1 year.
Okay. So has the fees been paid?
No, sir. I wasn't aware of it within the 30 days to pay it. I just found out.
And just to bring it to your attention, this final order was signed in September of 2025, so that year would run out. A year. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes.
Well, the year would run out. The year would run out after the 30 days. It would run out in October.
The 30 days to pay it and then 1 year from there?
Yes, sir.
And you're asking for reinstatement of your license? Is that what you're here for today? Or?
Well, I mean, I would like to provide some kind of defense against this disciplinary action. I've been licensed since 2018, and this is my first complaint, period. There's a lot more to it than, so for example, like the license name change, I converted from LLC to incorporated in 2019. I'm waiting on records still from Escambia County to see my renewals because I'm not sure if I was in my office in 2024 when I renewed, but I know that if I was not, I would have put down the correct address. I wouldn't put down an office address that I'm not in. And I wasn't even aware that I didn't update with the BBPR, the name change, or I don't think I was compliant with that in any county until I discovered this. And then I think Renee over in Okaloosa County had it correct over there. She didn't have to update it. I had to update it in Santa Rosa County, and then I had to update it here. What happens whenever I submitted my permit, I submitted it in the portal, and I got rejected for licensing. And
What was the reason for the rejection?
was my license was not current. I missed my renewal. And at the time, I wasn't doing work over here. I had a commercial project I took on in Santa Rosa County, and I had a big custom house I was doing in Okaloosa County. It's just me and my wife, so it's a lot of work. That was pretty much our year-long work. We weren't doing any marketing. We kind of turned the service off. We were just servicing existing clients and clients that found us through referrals. So whenever I found that out, I came in to get my renewal done. And at this time, they were presenting me that the documents didn't match. I was registered LLC with the DPPR, and I wasn't incorporated. But we have done the same renewal process since 2019. And to kind of get this job taken care of, I kind of pleaded with them to see if they could renew my license now and give me a grace period till the renewal period comes back up. And I would have it corrected by then. With the DBPR, to change the name, it's you have to fill out a piece of paper, you have to mail it in, you have to wait for them. It got extended a little bit because I forgot to write my license number down. They returned that, and I had to submit it. And the customer was putting a lot of pressure on me with, threats of complaints and this and that. And that's why I reached out to the other contractor, and I paid $300 for that service for them to permit my work. I sent pictures to the job so they could inspect that it was up to code, and then had them inspect it. And then 2 days after the inspection, I guess, is when they filed the complaint. So I try to take care of the customer, and realistically, I didn't hurt anybody, and this was, it was a mistake. It was negligence on my end that it didn't get renewed, but it was an honest mistake, and we were trying to take care of that.
Yeah, but, correct me if I'm wrong, go ahead.
I was just going to tell you that at this point, this is just public forum. So if you want to do a hearing on this or discuss possibilities, you would need to set it, decide to set, and you can decide that unilaterally. You don't need to vote on that. You could decide to have it, allow it to come back for a review of the disciplinary hearing.
Okay, but I'm not sure that, my decision anyway, but the board can, of course, have their own opinion. If you were working without a license and you knowingly know that your license wasn't active, I think that's the decision that we made that, so I don't think that decision would be changed by you coming in here and pleading your case. Because you were still working without a license, then you went to a second plumber to go in and say, hey, can you finish this job for me? So the ruling was based on the fact that you were working without a license. So regardless, every plumber, electrician, general contractors know that you don't start working without permit being pulled.
Yes, yeah, I agree with you. I was working without a license knowingly. I disagree with that. I didn't know my license was not current at that time, or I would have took care of that before I performed any work.
So I'll let the others on the board chime in and see if there's a difference of opinion whether or not to
Yes, sir.
rehear the case or not, but I'll pass it over.
Oh, there it is, it's on. I think for me, I agree with you on that. Just considering the counts that were before us, I don't think there would be on my part, I can't speak for the rest of the board, a different ruling that I would make. However, what I would look at, since you didn't receive the mail, maybe potentially us discussing giving 30 days for him to pay it and have the ability to then not be suspended for a year with that licensure.
But I think we'd have to put him.
Would we have to redo the ruling?
And again,
Well, basically you lost your, his license.
Because it wasn't within the 30.
So basically, he would need to reapply to get his license back, because I think that's going to be the process of it'd be a.
So yes, he could do a application for reinstatement of his license. That would come before the board as a contractor application, and then you could discuss that at that time.
are we in agreement with that? Just a straw poll?
I think that's good. Fees paid comes back before us.
So if you can get with staff, and then staff can recommend you what direction to go, and then put it back on the agenda at whenever the meeting, next meeting or the meeting after.
Okay.
And then we'll go that direction.
All right, that works for me. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else in the public forum?
I did not receive any other speaker request forms. You may just want to poll the audience to see if anybody.
Does anybody else want to speak on public forum? No hands go up. All right, so can we get the secretary status report, please?
I do have one thing for the board. I would like to introduce Ms. Rhonda Royals. She is our new deputy building official. She's actually worked for us, contract for a little while in our plans review room, and she's great to have on board as our deputy now.
Welcome.
Welcome.
If I could, thank you, and I apologize, but I just want to make sure we understand that it is always the responsibility of the contractor. I know some of you are contractors and some of you are not. So it is always the responsibility of keeping your information up to date, just like your driver's license. It is your fault if you don't keep it up to date, and the law requires that. That's not some kind of strange policy that we have here in Escambia County. It is with any license that you carry. It's your responsibility. It's the individual's falls on the individual, and I know that everybody that's a contractor on that board knows the weight of that. And the reason why we send two different letters is we send one letter snail mail, and the reason for that is if we have a bad address, it'll kick back and we'll know we have a bad address. We do it in code enforcement as well, whenever we send out notices, so we can make sure liens are properly applied. But we also send it certified. We don't necessarily go check to see if the certified was signed for, especially if the snail mail doesn't return. But that's our trigger to know, oh, we've got a bad address. It still would not be on your investigators to go snake out where this person is. So I know that that's just this just brings it to my mind, because I know that there was because I learned that when I came here about that policy, because I was like, oh, well, that works. I just want to make sure the board understands that that's not I know that the contractors understand that, but people that are not contractors may not realize we verify it as best we can, but it's not the responsibility of the investigator or the department to make sure that a contractor keeps their license information up to date.
Yep, it lies on the license holder.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to move to contractor applications. So we have a application for Master Plumbing with Gas for Brian Lynch.
We do. Mr. Brian Lynch, if you will please come to the podium, sir, and state your name and address for the record.
Good morning. My name's Brian Lynch, 505A Sullivan Street, Northwest in Fort Walton Beach.
Mr. Lynch appears before you today requesting approval to take the Master Plumber with Gas examination. Mr. Lynch previously held a plumber's license and in California, working from November the 15th of 2007 until November 30th of 2011, totaling 4 years and 15 days. His license number was 906561. Staff has provided the license information from California Contractors State Licensing Board's website. The licensure type was defined as a Class C36 plumbing contractor's license. I have also included a definition for this license for the board's reference per the state of California. His experience was listed as residential and commercial plumbing, along with all aspects of plumbing, including gas thread piping for gas. This is detailed in his experience verification form. Mr. Lynch did disclose prior criminal history when completing the application and has provided a written explanation along with court records provided from the Superior Court of the State of California for the County of Placer. Due to the disclosure of the past criminal history, staff will defer to the board for approval or denial of his application.
Mr. Lynch, would you like to tell us about yourself and a little bit about your history, if you don't mind?
I had a troubled youth, I would say.
I saw the dates. It was a while back.
It's been about 30 years. I started plumbing in 1999. I went to apprenticeship school through a sanctioned job where I worked for a plumber, and they put you into a school. From there, I moved up to foreman to oversee other plumbers. In 2011, my dad from North Carolina got sick. I put my license inactive and I moved back east. And for the last 14 years, I guess, 15 years, I had been taking care of him, and he passed a year and a half ago. So I went back to work, and I work for a contractor that does site work. And he found out I was a plumber and asked if I would consider getting my plumbing license to benefit the company so we could do more site work.
Okay. Board have any questions? Seek a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
And I'll second, and I'm sorry for the passing of your father.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. The motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Lane.
Thank you very much. Have
Good
a
luck.
great day.
Good morning, Board.
For air conditioning is Jason Jordan. Staff?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Our next applicant is Mr. Jason Jordan. Mr. Jordan, please come to the podium. State your name and address for the record.
My name's Jason Jordan, address 421 West Roberts Road.
All right. Now, Mr. Jordan is applying for to reciprocate his air conditioning Class B license from the Santa Rosa County, and he has the registered license number RA 13067746, and appears before you today with 5 years and 5 months of experience, according to the application provided. Now, although he provided us with an updated copy of his experience verification form, Mr. Jordan did ask that we use his previous experience form with notarized signature or verifier for current change in business relationships. And Mr. Jordan worked as HVAC technician and foreman for Brad Smith from 2020 to 2025. And the verifier, Mr. Brad Smith, he holds an active license for certified air conditioning contractor Class B with license number CAC 1819294 since 2018. And Mr. Jordan's responsibilities include, but are not limited to, performing services and supervising installations of HVAC equipment. And that's all the information according to what was provided on the application. Now, with this being an application for reciprocity, staff will defer to the board for the final decision.
Thank you. Mr. Jordan, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I've been doing heat and air about 10 years. That's about it.
Not much to say on that, huh?
Yeah, well, I wasn't preparing to public speak today, so forgive me if I'm.
That's okay. Do we have anybody from the board have any questions or comments regarding the application?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. The motion carries.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck. Our next applicant is for doors, windows, and siding. It's Mr. I don't want to. Kogut? Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Kogut, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Chad Kogut, 102 Shasta Road, Pensacola.
Absolutely. Mr. Kogut is applying for the doors, window, and siding examination and appears before you today with 6 years and 7 months of experience. And according to the application provided, he worked as project supervisor in siding for the Reside Incorporated under the supervision of Douglas Speck, who holds an active license with doors, window, and siding with the contractor license number DWS 90, and it's held since 2012. Mr. Colgate's responsibilities include, but are not limited to, completing over 50 projects, supervising 2 staff members, and repairing exterior rot, install flashings, moisture barriers, as well as measure, cut, and install new siding with trim. Now, Mr. Colgate did select yes on one of the financial responsibility questions on the application, and his criminal history has been compiled for the board to review in the agenda items. Now, with this financial responsibility history in consideration, staff will defer to the board for the final decision.
Thank you. Mr. Colgate, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
I moved out here to Pensacola in '98 and had a traffic ticket in another state that I was not aware of. Well, I mean, I guess I forgot about. And it suspended my driver's license here in Florida. And I got pulled over several times before I was able to finally get that ticket taken care of and get my driver's license back. Once I finally had, I've held on to it and cherished it with everything I got.
So you kept dragging on and on and on, right?
Yeah.
All right, does the board have any questions regarding approval of the license? If not, we'll seek a motion.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
A motion, we have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Next applicant is Mr. Craig with a roofing license.
Sir, Mr. Adam Craig, if you would please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, sir.
Morning. My name is Adam Craig, 4356 Clare Court, Gulf Breeze.
Mr. Craig appears before you today requesting to reciprocate his Santa Rosa County roofing license. His past examinations he has passed his examinations and obtained his license March the 7th of 2025. You will find a copy of his Santa Rosa County competency card and test scores included in his packet. Mr. Craig is self-verifying utilizing his dates of licensure in Kansas City, Missouri. He held this license from August the 10th, 2006 until August 1st, 2023, managed daily operations, finances, sales, and project management, as well as being involved in the physical roofing jobs. He provided a list of jobs on his experience verification form for the board's consideration. Staff has also provided a document showing his business details dated 2/21/2006, as well as a copy of Senate Bill number 756, which in subsection 5 provides a definition for roofing contractor in the state of Missouri. In addition to his experience, Mr. Craig did provide a copy of his ED 214 as well to provide credit for his time of service in the United States Navy. This was provided based upon Florida Statute 49.1131, which states in subsection B, acceptance of up to 3 years of active duty for service in the United States Armed Forces regardless of duty training, meeting the requirements of 49.111 subsection 2C, at least 1 additional year of active experience as a foreman in the trade, either civilian or military, is required to fulfill the experience requirements. However, because this is a reciprocity, staff will defer to the board for approval of denial of the application.
Thank you. Mr. Craig, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a disabled veteran, served 4 years in the military. I try and carry that honor and integrity into my service as a business owner. Lived in Kansas City for 23 years, operated a business for 18 of that. And that's about it. I think this is what my life is.
The board has any questions?
Thank you for your service. Yes. Motion to approve.
We have a motion. We have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we have a application for residential contractor, Mr. Gold.
Yes, sir. Mr. Frederick Gould, if you will please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Good morning. My name's Frederick Gould. Address 881 Dolphin Road, Milton, Florida, 32583.
Mr. Gould appears before you today requesting to reciprocate his residential contractor's license from Santa Rosa County. Mr. Gould obtained his licensure in Santa Rosa County on November the 8th of 2021 and has held a license in good standing through today's date, totaling 4 years, 2 months, and 27 days. This meets the 4-year requirement set forth by Florida Statute 49-111. He is self-verifying based upon the number of years he has held his licensure. He has provided to you his experience verification form, noting that he oversees all trades on the job site, ensures all trades have licensure and insurance, and works solely on all projects, which consist of new construction builds. He has provided 3 addresses on his experience verification form for building projects that he has completed under this license. He has also stated that he has worked in the construction industry for 44 years, having worked under the Laborers Union in Boston, Massachusetts, Carpenters Union, New York City Building Schools, and in the Prison Ironworks Union in New York City. This time period provided Mr. Gould with experience in foundation, framing, roofing, siding, sheetrock, metal framing, flooring, painting, cabinetry, countertops, site work, and insulation based upon his written experience provided. He also testified that he has constructed new homes in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Florida. You will find a copy of his test scores as well included in his packet. While assembling the application for reciprocity, these comp card and letter of reciprocity were not included, so I personally would like to apologize and take responsibility. I do have a copy of those available for the board to be provided with a motion for acceptance.
Shame on you. I'm just kidding. Motion to approve, or motion to bring it.
You want to share those? Or?
Yes, sir, if we had a second.
Do we have a second? Yeah, so moved. We need a second to accept the.
Need a second.
Second.
Second, right here.
Our love is unconditional.
After this has been distributed, that will conclude staff's presentation for Mr. Gould.
Does staff have a recommendation on this applicant?
It is a reciprocity, so we must defer it to the board.
Understood.
Thank you.
All right, if the board has any questions, additional questions?
I feel like you have a lot of really great stories with all the experience and all the places. A motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
We will be now moving into probable cause hearings.
Thank you. Yes, sir, Chairman. Our first item is Brett Smith doing business as Apex Plumbing, LLC, state registered license number RF11067884. Contractor Competency Board complaint number 250993 COM. It's in regard to Frank Janchek, the complainant at 1815 Klondike Road, Pensacola, Florida 32503. If the board members recall, this item was brought to the board at our last month's hearing, and the board determined to continue this to this meeting date. I'm going to bring up the investigator's report real quick. Mr. Smith, are you present today? Yes, sir. And are you going to provide testimony today? Yes, sir. And Mr. Janacek, are you present today? Mr. Janacek is not present. Melissa, did we receive any communications from him?
We did. He was furloughed with the short shutdown, and he said he had to go back to work today.
Okay.
Unable to appear. I have some other information as well.
At this time, I'm going to have Mr. Smith sworn in, as well as our investigator, Ms. Reber, and she will remain sworn for the duration of the hearings today.
Thank you.
Do you swear affirm the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I swear.
Melissa, from that last hearing, do you have any updates for us?
I do. Mr. Smith paid for the permit on February 2nd and had an inspection yesterday, which did fail for, it says, need to comply with manufacturer specification, exhaust too close to an openable window.
And
Go ahead. You were saying something? This is regarding the heater, right? The water heater? I just want to make sure.
this was in regard to a tankless water
Tankless
heater.
water heater that was put up, and then the gentleman came to the last meeting, explained to us what the manufacturer's recommendations were versus what the installation the way the installation was done, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And then the inspection that they had yesterday failed?
So what the board was looking at last time was the failure to obtain the permit. And yes, Ms. Reber did just state that the inspection failed.
Do you want to say something in regards to the complaint?
Yeah, so I actually.
Can you come to the podium?
So I actually had this hearing wrote down as the 9th and not the 4th. I had them converted somehow. So whenever I realized, yeah, we sped it up. The way that the house is, I needed to speak to a inspector about it, because if not, we're gonna have to run, 2 foot over the eave, and it's like 20 foot up in the air. So it's just the way the house is framed up. We did a direct swap out. So anywhere around the house, whether it be a 3 foot from a window opening or 5 foot from a door opening, everywhere around the house is literally mirrored image. It's an old house in like East Hill. So it's literally a window, a gap, a window. So we just direct swapped out where the old tankless was inspected, same exhaust, exact same setup. It's just a different company brand name, water heater. We put in there. So I ran out of time. I thought it was the 9th. I would have had it. We have it on our schedule today. Like, a technician's actually probably out there doing it. I don't know.
So I think the question was also that you're working without a permit?
So, yeah, that was when our transition happened. Like, that was a couple months ago when we did Frank's. And that's whenever, yeah, it was.
So we look at the part where you were working without a permit, number one, because clearly you know that you can't work without a permit. Number two is, of course, the client of yours is complaining as far as the installation goes. I looked at the pictures, and I'm sure if the board looked at the pictures, it does look like it's not a complete job at all based on the pictures or the images that I viewed. I wouldn't accept it, and the thing as a plumber, you probably shouldn't accept it either.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the disciplinary hearing that we're talking about today is going to be the fact that, you were working without a permit. And I think that's a big concern that we have here on this panel, that, we have people out there that take it for granted, and you've been sitting here listening, ignorance is, it's on the license holder. Whether you renew your license, whether you pull the permits, I think you know that, I know that, anybody that's on the board that's a contractor or a plumber or electrician understands that. So right now, what is our position? Do we move this to disciplinary, or what's our options here?
So the decision before the board, do you find probable cause that a violation exists and should proceed to disciplinary hearing?
Okay. I'm going to let the board chime in here because they'll have to make a motion to move it to probable cause, right?
The motion would be to proceed to disciplinary. Okay. We're already at probable cause.
Okay.
And just to note, this was the case that we gave additional time to fix the situation, so that way it wouldn't go forward to probable cause.
You did continue this. Mr. Smith did make payment on that permit the same day. Mm-hmm. But yes, you continued this.
Okay.
Any more comments from the board? So we had to have a motion to move to the next step, or?
So what you're looking at right now, I think the only violation in front of you is whether or not a permit was pulled, right?
Correct.
Okay, and so now you have a permit pulled. It hasn't passed inspection, but inspection is not before you. That's not your question remains, is it probable cause to find that he did it without a permit, but now he does have the permit, there's just problems. So just keep that in mind. That's where you're at on this.
I have a question. Is this the first time this has ever happened for him?
Their history.
Correct.
And how long have you been in business?
Since 2022. It's around like the COVID time, right? It was, yeah. 2022, so.
So the probable cause didn't change. And so would we make a motion that we find probable cause?
Right. It's a question whether or not you find probable cause, and if you find probable cause similar to law enforcement, then it would move forward.
So I would make a motion that we find probable cause to move forward to the disciplinary.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor? Is there any discussions?
Yeah, I was about to say, I have some discussion on it. So with that, because there's a bit of, because there's a bit of a loophole here, right? Because we gave him the time to get the permit. He now has the permit. He just has failed inspection. So would this be technically, can we find probable cause since he has the permit? Would there then need to be a new complaint from the client?
So the actual alleged violation is that he performed work.
Okay, so we can still, okay.
At the time of the incident, he didn't have a permit.
And again, so, if it goes into disciplinary, then it's up to the board, what type of disciplinary. It could be, minimum, or it could be maximum. But I think, again, just looking at the overall, is because there was work that was commenced without a permit being pulled. I think that's the only part that we have to focus on here. Of course, if the complaint comes in that, if the job's not done right, then of course that opens up another case. But I'm pretty sure that you'll, fix any errors that are there, recommendation, yeah. So, again, the board has a discretion to what that decision is gonna be. So don't want you to think that, okay, because I've got this action that's coming against me, the board can discuss at the next meeting and then determine, what's the minimum amount, what's the maximum amount, and they'll give us options on what that is, and then the board can decide on that. Okay. So we have a motion, and do we have a second?
Wait, I have one more
Sorry,
question.
we have a comment?
Yeah, question. Why was the permit not pulled again? I'm sorry, if you said it at the first meeting, I don't remember.
What was the reason why the permit wasn't pulled?
So we were in the transitions with dispatch ladies. Our paperwork was everywhere, and we were doing a lot of projects. This one slipped through. I mean, there's no excuse for it. It slipped through, and.
But all the other jobs that you were doing, you have multiple jobs, correct?
Yeah, we're pretty on point with the permitting stuff.
Do we know how many jobs they have done? I mean, how many permits you have pulled?
I can bring up.
I've heard of the company, so it's not that I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, sure.
What I'm going to bring up for the board is Mr. Smith's contractor licensing card. This is Mr. Smith's licensing card, and within the licensing card, you can see his associated permits. And from the time he obtained his license, he has 72 permits on the books. You can see that a majority of those are closed. He has a couple that are open and one that's pending.
Okay. So this is your first one that.
Yes, sir.
And it happens sometimes. So again, it's at the board's discretion if we want to take it to the next level, or
So currently you have a motion and a second, I believe.
Correct.
We had a second on that. So you would need to vote on that, or that motion could be withdrawn. But that's what's before you now.
We're in the discussion phase, so just depending on the discussion phase, if everybody wants to kind of move forward, we can go ahead and close out the motion, and if there's more discussion, we can have it. No more discussion? Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, raise your right hands. Motion carries.
You need to do all against as well.
Oh,
since
any
you did-
against?
how many, I'm sorry, I didn't see all the hands go up. That's why I'm checking. The four was,
All in motion, in favor of the motion, raise your right hand.
so you had 5, 4, and then 1 against. Okay.
5 and 1.
5 and 1. There we
6
go.
and 1.
Is it 6 and 1?
Yes.
All right. I'm sorry, Gary. I'm not counting you, Gary. So 6, 4, 1 against.
So, Mr. Smith, just to let you know, you will receive notice of when this disciplinary hearing will take place. That notice will detail what could and could not happen, based on the board's decisions. If you would like to give a response, in lieu to what you've done since then and what you're doing today, you said that the person was out there gonna, work on that, then please get that to Ms. Reber, so that it can go as part of the packet that would be presented to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next case.
Our next item is Aaron Burgess, doing business as Par Church Builders, Inc., state certified license number CBC 1258877, contractor competency board complaint number 2512119, COM. It's in regard to Pastor Will Stone from First Baptist Church of Cantonment, the complainant at 298 Morris Avenue, Cantonment, Florida 32533. Mr. Burgess, are you present today? For the record, Mr. Burgess is not present. Melissa, did we receive any communications from Mr. Burgess?
I've not had any communication with him.
Pastor Stone, are you present today? And are you going to provide testimony for this hearing? Yes, sir. At this time, I'm going to have Pastor Stone sworn in, and just a reminder that Ms. Reber was previously sworn. Pastor Stone, I'm going to ask Ms. Reber just a few questions really quick, and then we're going to hear from you, okay?
All right.
Ms. Reber, was a complaint filed with this board in regard to this case?
Yes, there was.
And on what date was that filed?
September 30th, 2025.
And did you assign a case number to that complaint?
I did.
And what is that case number?
2512119, COM.
And who was the subject of the complaint?
Aaron E. Burgess, doing business as Par Church Builders, Inc.
And what is his address of record?
225 North Pace Boulevard, Pensacola, Florida, 32505.
And who is the complainant? And what is their affiliation to the case?
Pastor Will Stone of First Baptist Church of Cantonment.
And what type of license does the subject hold?
A state registered building contractor license.
And what is his license number?
CBC 1258877.
During your investigation, were you able to assign any alleged violations? If so, can you take us through those, your justification, and any supporting documentation?
I was Code Section 1837C6, financial mismanagement or misconduct in the practice of contracting that causes financial harm to a customer. Justification is failure to pay subcontractors and material suppliers. I have supporting documentation. There's unpaid material suppliers, which were eventually had to be paid by the church, and a list of subcontractors that were paid by the church. Code Section 1837C11, finding that a contractor is guilty of fraud or deceit or gross negligence, incompetency, or misconduct in the practice of contracting. Justification is PAR submitted false invoices and altered lien releases. Supporting documentation is a list of the subcontractors paid by the church.
I just want to circle back real quick to the type of license that Mr. Burgess holds. That is a state certified building contractor, correct?
I apologize, state certified.
Yep. Can you take us through a brief synopsis of the complaint and your investigation?
Escambia County Building Services staff received a formal complaint from Dr. Will Stone, senior pastor of First Baptist Church of Cantonment, alleging that Wes Harden, owner of Parr Church Builders, Inc., received contracted funds but failed to complete all contracted work, failed to pay subcontractors and material suppliers. In October 2024, the trustees of First Baptist Church of Cantonment entered a construction contract with Wes Harden, doing business as Parr Church Builders, Inc., for the construction of a new church facility. Construction commenced in the fall of 2024 with an anticipated completion date in the spring of 2025. The total contract amount was $2,048,000, and to date, the church has paid Harden Parr Church Builders $2,094,779.74. Research on the license card determined that Parr Church Builders, Inc. is qualified by Aaron E. Burgess. According to Pastor Stone, when the project was nearly dried in around late June to early July 25, Harden advised the church that he was leaving town and wasn't sure when he would be back. Pastor Stone reports that he subsequently began receiving calls from subcontractors, material suppliers, and equipment rental companies stating that they had not been paid, despite Parr Church Builders, Inc. having received payment for the work performed through draws. Pastor Stone further alleged that he learned that Harden had falsified subcontractor invoices and lien releases. To protect the church from potential liens, the church paid $53,023.04 directly to subcontractors, suppliers, and rental companies. Pastor Stone also states that he was contacted by Escambia County and the Florida Department of Environmental Protection regarding the site's stormwater ponds and related stormwater structures being in a non-compliant condition. Pastor Stone alleges that Parr Church Builders, Inc. had been paid approximately $324,681 for site work and stormwater improvements. However, the site remained in violation and the required stormwater structure had never been purchased. With the assistance of church members and by spending additional funds, the church was able to stabilize the site and address the immediate concerns. After consulting with its lenders, the trustee of the First Baptist Church of Cantonment formally terminated Parr Church Builders, Inc. on August 18, 2025, by mailing a notice of contract termination via certified mail. First Baptist Church of Cantonment has hired another general contractor to complete the unfinished project. A review of the permitting history for the subject address confirms that Parr Church Builders, Inc. was issued a building permit on August 8th of 2024. Burgess has failed to respond to requests for a written response to this complaint.
Pastor Stone, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
Have you already filed a complaint with DBPR in regards to this, the state of Florida?
Yes.
Thank you. If you would like to go ahead and provide the board with any additional information, that would be great.
Okay. You've got the case. I mean, you heard it. But in addition to that, since we're moving forward, we had to the church had to apply for another loan for $525,000 to complete this project. And when we went to loan closing, there was already a lien on the property for $15,500 from Equipment Share, a rental company that he had failed to pay, that we had already been charged to pay that. And in addition, the roof that we had already paid to have installed and put onto the church is a raised seam metal roof. They had crimped the roof, but they did not roll the seams of the roof. And so that was another $8,000 for us to pay out to seam the roof properly. And so every day it's a different gift from this company. We get something every day, and I'm not sure that there won't be another lien on the building somewhere down the line, because I just don't know. We were unaware of the one with Equipment Share a week before our closing, when we found out there was already a lien on the property.
Does the contractor have any other open permits with Escambia County?
I can look. You can see here, he has 3 expired permits ranging from 2018 till now, and the 2 permits, that have had contract termination. Well, and you have actually terminated this one on Morris Avenue. It's showing as
Correct.
expired because he allowed it to expire.
Okay.
But you did terminate that contract
Yes.
as well. So it looks like contract terminated on the Blue Angel project and then also this other project at Morris Avenue.
How long was his license active? Does it show?
It looks like he originally registered with us in 2018.
Okay.
And then had that one project on Blue Angel. And then he updated his registration in 2024 for this project with the church.
Okay. And we've made attempts to reach out to him and is non-responsive?
I briefly talked to, I've never talked to Wes Harden, the owner of PAR. Briefly talked to Aaron Burgess, but he's never submitted anything in writing or gotten contact back with me.
Okay, so our option here is to move this into disciplinary.
Sorry, sir, I was asking a question. Can you
That's
repeat
okay.
that?
Our options here are to move this into disciplinary.
That is what's before the board today, for you to determine if probable cause exists to move this to disciplinary.
Okay, I'll turn it over to the board and clear this probable cause, but
I move to bring this forward to disciplinary actions for the alleged violations of Code Section 1837C6 and Code Section 1837C11.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Did I
Second.
add anything?
Do we have any discussions?
But it just needs to include the language that you find probable cause.
I'd like to amend my motion to say that I find probable cause.
Okay.
We have a motion, we have a second, and no discussions? All in favor, raise your right hand. Any nays? Motion carries.
And so, just to bring it to the board's attention, the reason that I asked Pastor Stone about whether he has filed with the state is this board is limited in what they can do to a state-certified contractor. And I wanted to make sure that the state had also received this complaint.
Yes, they have. I got an email from them yesterday requesting more information, so.
Yes, sir.
It worked.
Yes, sir, thank you.
And I see you have most of your paperwork already, but just, any damages that you know of that you're sustaining, that the church is sustaining, just have all that documentation ready and provide to staff so they have it. So when we're here making a decision, we'll be able to look and see if there's any damages to add to the
All right, thank you.
case. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think that's it. Is that,
Yes, sir, that is all that I have for the board.
okay, I need a motion to dismiss?
Motion made.
Motion carries. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. We're good here.